All right, well, I just did it, but why don't you go ahead and introduce who you are and what it is that you do?
Well, my name is Cliff Levingston. I'm the head coach for the Kokomo Bobkats. This is our first year in the TBL, and we're looking forward to some exciting basketball, but more importantly, a lot of community stuff up in Kokomo.
Why put a team in Kokomo?
Well, Kokomo, believe it or not, is a historical place for basketball. Hoosiers, Indiana, they love their basketball, and Kokomo has a rich history in basketball. And they've had a few Mr. Basketballs come out of Kokomo, and they just love basketball in Kokomo.
You haven't started yet, the season at least, and how have you seen that the community is all for the Kokomo Bobcats?
Well, I was basically done with coaching, and Mags called me and said it was a team, not far from me because I live in Michigan City. He says, looking for a coach, and, I just want to know, will you be interested in coaching? I said, well, let me just look. I don't know. I'll look into it. And he says, okay, if I give him your number. So they gave him the number, and then they called me, and we set up a time when I went down to Kokomo. The meeting when I went to Kokomo, it was the mayor of Kokomo, the city planner, and it was the city AD.
Wow.
And when I went to the meeting, and then he had other people. It was like, other people in the community. We had a big lunch. And it must have been about 12, 13 people.
Wow.
So they sat down and they was pitching it and everything, and I'm like listening to them. And then they said, well, let's go over to the gym where you guys be playing at. Went to the gym, and if you know anything about Indiana basketball, their gyms are historical. And the gym they took me in, it's an old gym, but it's old basketball flavor. And when I walked into the gym, I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. I walked in the gym. They were talking. I don't know what they were saying to me, but I was in awe because I've played in the Madison Square Garden. I've played in the old Boston Garden. I played in the LA Forum. And that was the feeling I got when I walked into that gym. It was just so much history in that gym. And they have their history plastered all over the walls, down the halls, from way back. So I got a chance to walk to the gym and went upstairs, looked down, and they came up and said, Cliff, this is where you should be coaching. This should be, this should be your home. And I said, yeah, okay, all right. So then I went downstairs. And then we was at center court, and they said, well, Cliff, the job is yours if you want it. And I'm like, well, let me think about it. I already knew in my mind that I was taking the job. But it was just, I wanted them to know I'm thinking about this, but there's not a place I wanted to be coaching if the community's not involved and I get a love and a feel for what they wanted to be about. And one thing, like I said, when I got there, I felt the love of the city around me. I walked around, I met people, and it was so many people talking about this basketball team coming, and you just don't know how much we love basketball. We miss basketball here. So it was a no-brainer for me, but I had to make them think, he don't really want the job, but I was excited as hell inside.
So walking into that stadium, you could feel the history, like you said. And then you mentioned some of the other places you played, and we do got to touch on some of that because it paints the picture of you as a basketball person. Where were you playing before, back in the day?
Well, I got drafted by Detroit Pistons, and that's basically my whole start and love of Detroit. I remember my 2 years in Detroit. I remember when they called me and told me I was traded to Atlanta Hawks, and I cried like a baby. I was balling, and I did not want to go to Atlanta. And, I got down to Atlanta, fell in love with Atlanta. I played 6 years down in Atlanta. And then, I played on some great teams with the Hawks, with Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb, Kevin Willis, Tree Rollins, John Battle, and Reggie Theus. And we started shifting from trying to get to that championship to more competing, and that's when I decided it was time for me to move on. And then I chose to go to Chicago Bulls. And my 2 years with Chicago Bulls was a hurricane ride. I mean, it was a whirlwind tour. Playing with the Bulls with Michael and Scotty was like traveling with a rock band. Everybody was out. We had to go through the back doors. It was phenomenal, and it was just I was in the right place at the right time, and timing is everything. And playing with the Bulls, we formed a team that we understood one another, and we gelled at the right time, and I ended up winning 2 championships with Chicago Bulls, and that was a pivotal point in my career, because I always wanted to win a championship before I left. I wanted to play 4 years in the league, and I wanted to be an all-star, but that didn't happen. But hey, I accomplished a lot of things in the league that I wanted to accomplish, and then I happened to leave the Bulls, went overseas and played a couple years in Greece and Italy, then came back, and then I played with Denver Nuggets with Dikembe Mutombo and Dale Ellis and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. So and Robert Pack and Rodney Rogers. I played with a great team there. So I tell people all the time, I've played with 6 Hall of Famers, and can't too many players can say they played with 6 Hall of Famers. They can say they played against them, but not with 6 Hall of Famers.
How are you? So you talked about how special it was that the Bulls gelled together. How are you going to try, or how are you going to succeed to do that in Kokomo as the coach?
Well, here in Kokomo, I'm going to build the team the way I built my team down in Dodge City. I coached in the USBL, and it was built on a lot of things with the community. I look for guys who were strong community, who's strong community orientated, but also good basketball players. To win a championship, you don't have to have great people, great players on your team. You have to have good players on your team that understand their roles and what they can and can't do. And that's what I'm looking to build, a team that players understand their roles, understand what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then I'll fill the voids. If you're weak in something, I'll put someone who's strong in that position, and then we'll balance you out. So that's how I built my championship teams, and that's what I plan on doing in Kokomo, is finding players, first of all, who are community orientated. Secondly, good basketball players.
What is something you can listen for or see when you go and talk to those guys out there that they will be good community guys?
Well, first of all, you can tell by the character of the person, of what they're talking about, what they're all about. Are they about the me, or are they about the we? You can look at their social medias and see what they're talking about, what they're on, and you'll see the guys who talk the talk and guys who walk the walk, just by looking at their social medias or listening to what they're saying that's coming out of their mouth. Not necessarily what they're saying, but the words they're saying that comes out of their mouth. So that's what I listen to. I listen for a lot of little things and look for a lot of different things in players. Whereas everyone's looking for guys, I'm looking for guys who understand I can help fill a void. Because if everyone's help filling a void, you have a whole team.
How quickly can somebody who's about the me and not about the we destroy a team?
Oh, that can happen overnight. When you got guys who are about the me, it's always going to be, well, they didn't get me the ball enough, or I need to be shooting more. I need more time. I need. When they start doing that right there can manifest, because it was, I'm not getting the ball. I need to get the ball. Then the next guy, well, you know what? Y'all overlooking me. You looking past me. I'm wide open. I'm getting rebounds. I'm running down the floor. You're not hitting me down the court. So it can manifest so quickly if you don't snip it in the bud. And that's what I'm always looking for. I'm always listening to what my team is talking about, but not necessarily listening to their conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing about the league is that if a guy gets an opportunity mid-season, go and take it. Go and leave and go get it.
I am a guy who loves to promote my players and my coaches as well. If I see a guy or I have a guy on my team that has a chance to go overseas, go to the G League or go to the NBA, I relish that because I know if I can keep promoting guys to getting jobs, more players gonna want to come play for me. It's almost like Kentucky. Why do the one and dones always end up there? Because he keeps sending guys to the league. So he's going to get those guys.
Yeah.
If I'm promoting guys and getting guys jobs, and we're winning, players going to come to me automatically. I don't have to go seek out players. I don't have to go search hard for players. All I got to do is find the right players. And just because you're a good player, don't mean you're a good pro. And I try to help develop guys to be good pros because once you leave that next step, you got to learn how to be a pro. If you go overseas and don't understand what a pro is, you're going to be home real quick because when you go overseas, it's about understanding the culture, understanding what you're there for, trying to blend in with everyone, and try to be the man without stepping on toes. That's a professional. A lot of guys don't do that. They go over there, well, this ain't how we do it at home. This ain't how we do this. Back home, we do this. In America, we do this. And that turns people off instantly. And that's when you end up getting isolated and sent home because you got to remember, it's only two American players on a team.
Yeah.
If you alienate yourself from the nationality, then you just have that one player.
Yeah.
Now, if you alienate yourself from that other American, you're on an island by yourself. When you're on an island by yourself, you look around, you see a player in the stands, like, dang, that's another American. No, he's coming to take your job. You go home. So I learned that quickly when I went overseas. I had a good teammate, Kenny Barlow, and that played at Notre Dame. He taught me how to understand the European way of things. I was always, we got to help me get done. You got to go do this. You got to go do that. I was always in a rush to do things. And once I slowed down and started understanding how they do things, things become a lot easier. And I started fitting in, and things just was great over there. I loved it over there.
What's something about the Kokomo Bobcats that people need to know that we didn't talk about?
Well, one thing about the Kokomo Bobcats is we have a strong ownership group. They're fans, but more importantly, they're businessmen, and they understand that you have to do certain things to have a good team. You have to treat your players a certain way for them to play hard for you. We have a lot of things in place for our players to benefit from and also help them get to the next level.
Speaking to the fans here, we'll end here. Why should they go check out the Kokomo Bobcats Game 1?
Game 1 is going to be an exciting type of basketball. We're going to have on the floor, depending on what team I have, we can be up and down or we can be set plays, half court. You never know. Just come and see what we have to offer. And once you come to see, I got you hooked.
Awesome. Where can we find Kokomo on social media?
It's Kokomo Bobcats Facebook page.
Okay.
And on the TBL League website.
Fantastic. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Quite welcome.
Awesome. Have a good day.
All right.